apologies in advance. The Southern Illinois and Southern Indiana in each of us causes us to talk a little bit slower than most. So we blame Kentucky for that.
Absolutely.
So out of respect for you, we scripted this in advance so that we don't keep you here all afternoon. Thank you for joining us. My name is Melissa Sweazy. I'm the founding principal of Esmeralda Santiago, a K-8 elementary school on the west side of Chicago.
My name is Emily Wilson. I am the founding assistant principal at Santiago.
So in the fall of 2011, we had the opportunity to found a new school and opened at full capacity. So day one, we had nearly 300 kindergarten through 8th graders walk through the door. Needless to say, we both gained a little bit of weight, nearly ended up in couples therapy with each other, and took turns luring one another back to school with lattes and tacos.
True story. That being said, a few years in, we were experiencing high levels of success. Our students boasted one of the highest attendance ratings in the city, and under CPS's school quality rating policy, Santiago ranked as the highest performing charter elementary in Chicago 2 years running. We are very proud of this accomplishment, but we are especially proud as nearly 1 in 4 of our students has an IEP. There is a prevalent and unfortunate belief amongst many that students with special needs cannot grow and achieve the way their non-special education peers can. However, we all know that given the right environment, those students are capable of thriving and achieving just like any other.
So despite success with students overall, we knew there were individuals who were not reaching their maximum potential. Our work with our special education students helped us come to the realization that we could take an individualized approach to educating all of our students. We could maximize our underutilized special education or resource room teachers in new ways and completely reimagine what Tier 1 instruction looks like for everyone.
So we decided to party like it's 1915 and live out the philosophy of the artist formerly known as John Dewey. If we teach today's students as we taught yesterday, we are robbing them of tomorrow. We firmly believe that inclusion of all students in Tier 1 could only be made possible and reasonable through a competency-based curriculum in multi-age classrooms co-facilitated by gen ed and special ed teachers. We crafted a multi-year plan with our teachers, students, and families' input.
We approached competency-based instruction through playlists that allow the students to study a given standard in the manner and at a time that best suits them. So whole group instruction has dwindled down to only about 20 minutes of a given reading or math block, and teachers spend the majority of their time addressing the specific needs of individual students in small group or one-on-one sessions. One of the most seminal and evocative moments in my education career was during one of our student-led conferences. So I was sitting there with our 3rd grader Malachi Martinez as he presented his portfolio to his parents and teacher. And as he's explaining his 99th percentile ranking in reading and in math, he turns to me and says, quite brilliantly, hey, why am I still in 3rd grade if I already know how to do all this stuff? It's hard to render me speechless, but he had, and I truly had no good answer beyond because. So thanks to Malachi, students are no longer placed into arbitrary grade levels at Santiago that are based on their date of birth. Rather, students are grouped into flexible and fluid multi-age pods and are advocating for themselves if they feel their assigned pod isn't quite the right fit.
This approach has allowed our special education teachers to bust out of the resource room. They plan and instruct alongside general education teachers and specifically support students with IEPs. The work they were doing well in the resource room now has a home in Tier 1 instruction. Most importantly, students are realizing that yes, they may learn differently or need different supports, but that the same is true of all learners at some point in time. And they are not so different that they need to leave the room to go learn in a different space.
Now, we know the default for humans is to fall into the trap of buts. But we can't do this because of X or Y. We oftentimes had to remind each other and several other stakeholders along the way to stop arguing with reality and push beyond the present to create something new.
We did some really cool, fun stuff to hear from and engage with our stakeholders. Please come find us to talk about our student-led panel discussions, our bilingual Padlet chats, or our focus groups. But specifically for special education students and families, we engaged in a lot of conversation with a few guiding principles. One, what we're doing now is working well, but it's not working for everyone all the time, so we have to keep pushing. Two, our special education students were going to be set up to receive the same, if not better, services than they had become accustomed to. And three, we couldn't underestimate the impact on the child's self-concept that leaving the classroom or being treated dramatically differently from others can have. Our classrooms have gone from places where the teacher is the center of instruction to students being the center of their learning experiences. And those experiences may or may not be the same as their peers. Teachers are there to push, support, and encourage students down their personal road to success.
I assure you, our students are growing in more ways than one, but if you're like us and are also living in a space with extremely high levels of accountability, you really want us to show you the numbers at this point. So students from all subgroups are growing and achieving like never before at Santiago. And this is in random order here in the picture, but we have an example of a student with an IEP growing 24 percentile points on NWEA, an average performing student growing 41 percentile points, and a student with an IQ much higher than both of ours, achieving the 99th percentile, all within one and a half years. And in case you can't see the picture here, they're dabbing to celebrate their success.
For our special education students in this pilot, now our new model, we're seeing significant gains. As of winter of this school year, our special ed kiddos have grown an average of 16.8 percentile points in reading and 21.6 in math. That's as of last spring to this winter. We know how hard it is to increase a single percentile ranking point, let alone 21. We're very proud this winter, 70% of our special education kiddos have already blown away their rigorous end-of-year goals.
So most of us in this room grew up with the notion that providing the same education for everyone is fair, but we know it's not. It's equal, yes, but it's not equitable, and it's certainly not fair. We really believe we have to stop building schools with the expectation that students will fit them. Instead, we have to start building our schools to fit the needs of all of our students. So let's push on each other and prop each other up to take risks and innovate and ultimately disrupt the status quo. Lord knows we could not have done this without those who pushed us. We're very fortunate to be in Chicago with many forward-thinking and inspiring education communities. Thank you, Leap Innovations. So keep it up, y'all. You will certainly fail along the way, but as we say to our students, if you're going to fail, fail big, because that means the learning is big, and all of our students deserve that.
Thank you.
Thank you.